Hi there folks, this is Adam with 8Badge Gaming coming to you today with the first gameplay video in our Gardevoir Gallade series, or Guard Gallade as I like to call it. We are going to just hop right into the queue right off the bat. We're going to be likely paired up against new Celestial Storm decks, now that Celestial Storm is active in Standard online, if not in the tournament scene, but we're going to see how the Gardevoir deck shapes up against it. So we've gone ahead and queued up here now, and we're against a Fairy, Fire, Dark, Psychic deck. So this is likely Zoroark with Marcargo. Marcargo being able to tutor any one deck, or sorry, any one card out of your deck and put it on top works very well with the trade ability of Zoroark. We get a pretty bad hand to start here, but it does mean that we do have the ability to Ultra Ball. On our first turn to go for a Lele for a Bridget, we're likely losing the active Ralts here. We get a Sylveon EX in the active. So Sylveon EX is 170 HP basic, a double colorless of Dress Up. If this Pokemon has a tool attached to it, this attack does 30 damage more. Now, it also has Precious Ribbon, which is double fairy and 1 for 100 damage, and you can move a fairy energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. If you do, heal 50 damage from that Pokemon. So we see them starting indeed with a Zoroark here, discarding a Mew EX and a Delinquent to an Ultra Ball, which we're okay with at the moment. We're seeing a Tapu Lele likely going for a Bridget here now. So we would love to be able to hit something like, I don't know, say a Parallel City would be a very good draw. Quite a few things overall just to shut down their bench space, get them stuck, especially now that they've discarded a Delinquent. They'd have to have Double Puzzle to be able to get it back. And we see a Dark Energy being put on the Zoroark here. So we do have a Super Rod off the top. So what I think we're going to do here is we're going to Ultra Ball, discarding the Super Rod and a Fairy Energy. We're going to go for the check first. So it seems that we have one Ralts prize, none of our Kirlias, none of our Gardevoirs, none of our Gallades. We have our Mewtwo, our Oranguru, and our Leles. We have both of our Blowers, both treasures. We've got a rare candy prize because we've got one in hand. We've got an Ultra Ball being used already, so an Ultra Ball is prized. Both of our Parallel Cities are there. We have our Guzmas, we have our Ends, we don't have our Cynthia, so that's prized as well. We've got our 2 of Choice Bands, we have a DCE in hand, we discarded an Energy, so that checks off all those boxes. So what is it that we're missing? Let's see. Let's go get a Lele and click Done here. So let's have a quick look. We have a Super Rod on the deck. We have the Mysterious Treasures. We're going to Lele now for a Bridget. And we're going to Bridget to go get Oranguru Ralts here. I think we're not going to bother with the Mewtwo. We have our Kirlias, our Gallades. That's all check. One of our rare candies is in hand, one's prize. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 of our prizes. So what is it that we're missing? I'm very curious now as to... Oh, it would be a bunch of our Sycamores. It would be 2 of our Sycamores as our last 2 prizes. Okay, so we're going to go for those 3 here now. We're going to attach a DCE for the Ralts, risk losing it potentially next turn, and then we're going to pass back to our opponents. So they still have the Sylveon in the active, which does have a double pip retreat cost here. Let's see if they do have the Marcargo for the Slugmon. They likely have a draw supporter here if they use Lele to go for turn 1 Bridget. Going for a... Choice Band on the Lele is interesting. I guess they're trying to be ready to kill a KO, or rather kill a suited up Gardevoir. Now our opponent's shuffling our hand back into our deck and giving us 4 cards instead, but we did kind of get what we needed here. Let's see what we go for here. We've got Puzzle of Time, just doing a rearranging of the top, a DCE here on the Sylveon, and a Dress Up hitting us for 30. So, we did get a mysterious treasure here. What we can do is, let's see, we can mysterious treasure. Can we do everything we want to do? So let's mysterious treasure getting rid of the Curlia. We're going to go for a Lele to get ourselves a draw supporter. We're going to and have our opponent concede apparently. So we were able to get out of the card stuck. My guess is our opponent was card stuck there as well, so he wasn't able to really continue the game. Now, I won't really count that as a full gameplay video. We're only just over 5 minutes into the game itself. I did get a Crimson Invasion pack out of the mystery box off of winning, which is nice, but we're just going to hop right back into the queue here once we get all the annoying prompts of what we've gotten out of the way and move on into hopefully a second quick game here. So we're going to hop right back into the queue here now. We're looking for an opponent overall just to continue trying Gardevoir against. I would have very much liked our opponent to continue playing out that game. Zoroark Marcargo definitely seems to be one of the big games after rotation, or one of the big decks, I guess I should say, after rotation. So it should be a strong deck overall, so it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. Now, it looks like we're paired up against a Dark, Psychic, and Steel deck here. So this might be Zoroark Duskmane, for example. We're going to call heads on the coin flip and lose the coin flip as usual, calling heads. You'd think we would learn our lesson by now and just call tails and be done with it. We have an immediate mulligan on our first hand here. Double N, double candy, double energy, and a Gardevoir. So our opponent will be able to see immediately what we're on and have an idea of what they want to keep their game plan on with their opening hand. I'm kind of sad about that. We do have a Ralts here to start with, so at least we have something here. We do have a mysterious treasure as well, which is going to be a bit easier to go get a Lele. The debate then will be whether we discard Cynthia or N, and it's likely going to depend on how our opponent starts off here. So it looks like they're going to get an aggressive KO early, and they do have a few draws there, so we might actually just N. Depending on what they do get the setup here now. I guess we're against the Zoroark Garbodor deck. I always mess up trying to say Garbodor there. And we're getting an Ultra Ball here, discarding N and a Guzma. I wonder what they're going for. Likely a Zoroark, but no, it's actually going to be another Trubbish. So they're likely trying to shut down our secret spring abilities and do so with, say, for example, a Garbotox and Garbodor there. Let's see, we have the Guzma, which I kind of want to keep in the deck. So what I think we want to do is we don't want to end our opponent up cards at this point, so we're going to Mysterious Treasure. We're going to discard the N. We're going to go for a Lele, but we're also going to do a prize check here. So let's see what we're missing overall. Now, it does look like we do have at least one of our Ralts prized here. We don't have any Curlius prized. We're grabbing a Lele. We have a Gardevoir prized. We have both of our Gallades. Our Mewtwo is prized. We have a Mysterious Treasure we're using now, a Rare Candy in hand, an Ultra Ball in hand. We have one of our Guzmas in hand. We have our Cynthia in hand. We've discarded an N, so it looks like we have an N prized. We have one of our DCEs, and it looks like we've got 2 Fairy Energy prized here. So we're going to go for the Lele here. We're going to toss down the Lele to go for a Bridget. We're going to grab the Bridget to use to grab a couple of Ralts, as well as an Oranguru where we have our 4th Ralts actually prized. So we're going to go here, go for Ralts, and Oranguru. We're going to leave the DCE in hand now for the moment, and we're simply going to pass back. Our opponent's not likely to end us as much, with us being at higher cards in hand, but we want to play around Enhanced Hammer, which I do know that some of the Zoroark Garbodor lists are running. We do have a Garbodor, both Garbotoxin and Trash Lunch being suited up, and followed up by a Sycamore to go deep into their deck again. They are getting a really good setup here now. Evo Soda going for another Zoroark. Ooh, I'm not liking how this is shaping up here so far. Now, likely what we're going to be doing is discarding whatever we draw plus Guzma to the Ultra Ball to go for a Gardevoir, use Gardevoir, or attach DCE to the Gardevoir, hopefully go for Cynthia then into more card draw. We wouldn't mind hitting a Sycamore off the top because we would just use that instead of the Cynthia, and just try to empty our hand and fill it again as quickly as possible. Now, our opponent's likely gone very trade deep here, so we're going to see if they do throw down a tool on the Garbodor. They try to usually use Bursting Balloon, where it falls off on their turn, so it keeps us from using abilities on our turn, but lets them use abilities on their turn. When it goes back, falls off, and they can trade away again. Now, they only have one Pokemon suited up to attack at all, and that is the Trash Avalanche Garbodor. We only have one item in our discard at the moment. Ooh, that's actually a good draw here from us. I actually would consider discarding the DCE now to keep that Parallel City, because Parallel City lets us shut down their bench space entirely, and with the Garbodor in the active, we can potentially set up for a knockout here. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to Ultra Ball away the DCE and a Guzma. We're going to go for a Gardevoir. We're going to Rare Candy onto our active Ralts. Throw down the Parallel City facing them. Make them make the hard choice now. I likely imagine they'll discard a Zoroark and maybe one of the Zoroarks, because they're going to want to keep that Trash Avalanche Garbodor there. We're going to a Rangaroo just to get deeper in our deck. And it's going to be a shuffle effect with the Cynthia, so we don't have to worry about discarding. But we did get a Sycamore, so we could go deeper, but I think we're just going to Cynthia instead, because we want the chance to hit that Rare Candy again. We did hit 2 energies off of our Cynthia here with a Rare Candy in hand, so let's go ahead. We're going to Secret Spring on to Gardevoir. We're going to attach an energy for turn, and we're going to go for an Infinite Force for 60 damage on their Garbodor. Now, they're going to have to get the Garbodor out of the active, because if we shut it down and still have our abilities available to us while they have a bench restriction, we're going to be pretty well off. We see a trade away of an Ultra Ball here, likely followed up by another trade of a card that's not doing them a lot on their current board. They're probably trying to hit Field Blower. They really do want to get that Parallel City out of the way. We do see a DCE being discarded here, which is interesting. Our item count in our discard right now is only up to 3, so we're only seeing 60 damage coming from a Garbodor here at the moment. Now, if they do put it into the active and we get ourselves any other kind of, say, energy to attach to our Gardevoir here, and they try to force up that Garbodor, we're going to just be able to KO it. And then we do actually have a Guzma here as well, if they manage to force something else up into the active, but them going for the Delinquent isn't good for us. So I think we discard 3 cards. We're going to keep the Sycamore, obviously, for the draw supporter here, discard the Rare Candy, Guzma, and Bridget, and we're just going to Sycamore up on our turn. They do have ability shutdown with the Garbodor here, but I don't think we're too concerned at the moment. They have discarded one of their DCEs. We're seeing a Rescue Stretcher here, likely buying back. Let's see, what are they going for, I wonder? Oh, they're actually going for the Shuffle effect. Get a Garbodor, a Tapu Lele, and a Zoroark back in. A Choice Band here on to the Garbodor, a DCE down on to the Zoroark, and we're going to get a Trash Avalanche for a Tickle here. So 110 damage means that Gardevoir, without us having, say, a backup here, is going to get KO'd next turn by the Zoroark. We would love to hit our second Parallel City. We do get, however, one of our Field Blowers here that we can use. So let's go ahead and Field Blower. We're going to take off the 2 tools that they have in play. We did get an energy, which we can invest here for a KO, which is what I think we will do. We do have the Lele for draw support on our turn, plus Field Blower, so they would have to end. We're going to go for the Infinite Force knockout here take a prize and let our opponent take 2 prizes back. But we do have Kirlia set up here now next turn that we want to try and go for a Precognition Gallade. Just be able to set up and go for a straight KO against our opponents. They do have a Cynthia here, and they did have another DCE for the other Zoroark there. So they're not quite actually at a KO here now with the resistance. They're going to be able to hit right now for 100. They were likely aiming for 120. They do need the Choice Band to be able to take the KO. And if they don't take the KO, we're hitting for quite a lot of damage back here. Now, I think we will be using the Ultra Ball, likely discarding the N and potentially whatever we draw. They discarded Enhanced Hammer because we don't have any DCEs in play. We do have a Float Stone there onto the Gallade again. Or sorry, a Float Stone onto the Garbodor to shut down our abilities here. We've got a swing and a miss pretty much. So right now we're hitting for 150. We do have the backup Field Blower here. We're going to go for a Lele, and we're going to tutor up a supporter card. I think we're going to go for a Sycamore, but our opponent's going to scoop it on up. So we're likely going to go for a Sycamore there. We're going to use an Ultra Ball, discarding the N and the extra Lele. We're going to use Secret Spring to put an energy onto the Kirlia. We're going to get Gallade, use Precognition to check what the top cards of our deck are, use Sycamore, and just go deep. Now, likely we're not going to use Precognition. We're just going to Sycamore because we're going to get the top 7, and Precognition only puts us 5 deep. But we're going to be able to just suit up some Gallades there, promote it into the active while retreating the Gardevoir, and just start one-shotting on the actual Zoroarks there, and they're not going to be able to one-shot back with the 150 HP from the Gallade. Well, that does clue up our first gameplay video here today. It was 2 quick games that we were able to fire off there, one against Zoroark Marcargo and one against Zoroark Garbodor. I hope you did enjoy our video today. I will be coming back to you again over the next few days with the next gameplay videos, following up with our deck review at the end. I'm still getting Mike to give me an updated list for what deck he started with when playing Pokemon that we'll be doing next week. Some of you might already have an idea of what we'll be looking at, but I look forward to seeing how everything's going to work out. With that said, we do greatly appreciate your viewership here at 8Badge Gaming. We love interacting with you in the community as a whole. We always love to hear back from you, and we hope to continue hearing back from you in the future. And thank you very much again, and this is Adam with 8Badge Gaming, signing off.